Welcome to Dandysoap DIY. In this thrift flip, we are going to update and spruce up old Christmas decorations. Now the Santa stops here. He's in pretty good shape. Well-made sign. He had some staples in him, so I took those out and he's ready to go and be remounted. This Merry Christmas Santa sign, well, to be honest with you, it's bumped up, but he's so scary. So his face is frightening. And this little photo frame, you see these all the time. They're three-dimensional resin, and this one's actually a good one. So let's start out with the scary Santa and take a pencil and just sketch on there because you can erase it, and these have a slick surface. And we really want to make him, well, more warm and friendly and not so frightening. And his eyes, he looks like a deer caught in headlights, like he's just gotten run over. So I have took and with a little black paint marker and colored in his eyes a little bit, took away some of the white. And we're going to accentuate those eyes. We're really going to work on those and add some eyelashes and just calm him down a little bit. Now, take your time when you work on the eyes like I am here. And of course, we need to trace out the roundness there, more oval shaped, and color in the black and make it more prominent. We want to leave a little bit of white as though he's looking either left or right. In this one, he will be looking to the right. And we've added him some brows, and that way it takes away that frightened, just run over look in his eyes. Now here at the cheekbones, these cheeks are a little too prominent. So I'm taking the white and I'm putting a little bit of his hair per se, just under the cheeks. And I'm using the previous Santa sign that said Santa stops here as a face to go by. So if you don't have that, then pull up something, maybe Google it or Pinterest, and pull up a Santa sign that you like. Now I had previously colored in the mouth, so I've changed my mind and just take a moist white and remove the paint there because this is a slick surface, so the paint comes off rather willingly. And I've took the red and created him an upper lip. Now going back to the eyes, now that the paint has dried on the black, I can use the white and color in the white areas and dot them. Now I can go back with the other area where the white is drying and try to accentuate that a little bit more, kind of a shadowing. And as you can see here, I'm just working with the white and layering it so that as it dries in between each layer, I can go back over it. Now a Sharpie marker is the perfect thing for these signs, and it's great for tracing out all the work we've already done. So let's color in the mouth. The lip is red and it has dried, and red will transfer real easy, so you have to make sure it's good and dry. And just with a black Sharpie marker, I'm able to color that in and close up that large opening. So I even decided not to go with the upper lip. I colored it in black as well. And then I decided more of an open, like he is actually hollering per se. Not yelling, hollering. So we're just fixing him up. Okay, so as each layer dries, we can go back and add in the marks and accentuate them more, make them pop more. And the black Sharpie marker is just the right amount. With the paint marker already having been there, that really helped, and then following it behind with the black Sharpie, just going ahead and putting the lines where they should go. Now that we added the white underneath the cheeks and made them a little bit smaller, we need to outline them. And anything that got marked on, so to speak, like I got a little bit of white on the upper side and put the accents on his nose and cheekbones, and voila, here we go. Now, here's a picture of before and after. Please leave your comments. Let me know your vote. Hello and welcome to Dandysoap DIY. I'm Elizabeth. Now these signs I am working on, they were part of an estate sale and I grabbed them up because they're still well made and they have a great potential for creativity. And I thought maybe if I updated them and spruced them up a little bit, that would help you be creative in some ideas with these types of signs. They're well made and I just could not see in them perishing just yet. Now, I've done a little bit on this video to spruce them up per se, but I am looking forward to your help. I'm asking you to help me with more suggestions on what would you do with these signs beyond this video, and that way that will help me and others who come across this video. Now, I'm sure some of you probably have these laying in the garage or in your old Christmas decoration, and maybe have a friend or someone who has these signs, and it will help a whole lot because these were very, very popular back in the 80s and 90s. So I really appreciate the help. I'm looking forward to all the comments and suggestions because I'm stuck. Beyond this video, I am stuck. I don't know what else to do with them, and I really appreciate your help. Now, this is a thrift flip, and we do a lot of that on here as well as other DIYs on Dandysoap DIY Channel. So if you will, please click the like button, and that helps me get served in YouTube more often to people just like you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, well, go ahead. We do a lot on here. So in the meantime, let's get back to the video, and I'll see you in there. Our second fix-up is this three-dimensional resin photo frame. You see these all the time in the big box stores, and I think even Dollar Tree has this little photo sign or something similar. And a lot of people will buy that as a gift to give to a grandmother and something of the grandchild on Christmas morn. And this ad in this frame is featuring a child or children on Christmas morning. And I took my small, very fine point paint markers and decided to color in some of the pieces on here, because if you pay attention on these type of frames, they generally have 5 colors. They'll use 3 primary colors and then 2 colors that didn't even make any sense as to why it went where it did. But if you spruce it up a little bit and take a paint marker or even a magic marker, you could use Sharpie markers on this. I will leave an affiliate link down below for these small fine point paint markers. These are water soluble, so they're not technically permanent, but if they're sitting there and no one's washing this frame per se, they'll stick around. As you can see, for me, it was a sensible thing. The dove needs to be white. That's just a given. The little angel needs to be white. That is a given. The tree needs to be a more prominent green, and the stocking, because they used red for the frame, they couldn't make the stocking red. So if you really eyeball these picture frames and pay attention, you will notice that they'll have this real dominant color. Like the frame will either be green or it'll be red. And then all the other things will be any color but that. So that is what I'm talking about. They'll use these basic common red and green colors for the frame, and then you don't know what to do with all the others, so they just put a color on it. And I'm working here, I took blue and did the stocking, and I thought that would be an offset. And of course I did the white wherever I thought white should go. Now, if you are not entertained and not liking this part of the video, then fast forward to the next thrift flip that we did. And this one, I am just showing you how I went about going on this frame and using a paint marker or a magic marker to color it in and change the color. And it takes really easy in just a small amount of time. And even though they're small, they're bumpy, they're 3-dimensional and resin, so you can real easily do that with a Sharpie marker or even a fine point marker, paint marker, and then you know it's not going to bother the frame. If you did want to go through the trouble of painting that frame, you probably got your work cut out for you. Now see, with the train, I am just accentuating the colors that were already there. If you purchase this paint pack, it will have tons of colors. There's like 20 something markers, I believe. So you'll have different levels of blue, different levels of green, and red and those things. And just like with the ribbon, to me, the ribbon, of course, would make more sense to be red. But since the frame is red, the manufacturer could not make the ribbon red. And if it is a more high quality frame, yes, you will see these at Christmas time, but they will be of gold and silver. They won't be a resin type frame with these three-dimensional characters all about it. And once you fix this frame up, this could be a lovely updated gift that you didn't pass up at a yard sale, garage sale, Goodwill, or yourself, and get it back out, give it a little update, spruce it up, and make the colors what you feel they should be and accentuate them. And I assure you, you will be very pleased with what you do with this little photo frame. And you see these all the time. You can buy them a dime a dozen, and they're just really, truly easy to come by, and you see them pretty common. This would make a nice gift that you could put even a Christmas poem or maybe the year before Christmas card inside of it with the date, and you could add a tag for the date. The easy removal of the back of this one, it's just two little swivel latches. Opens up, and then you can put a 3.5 to 2 inch photograph in there. So any of you who have the Polaroid instance, this would be a great little photo frame. So here we go. This is the before and the after. Leave your comment. Let me know what you think. So let's make a handmade burlap poinsettia wreath, which is very popular this year. Now this wreath, someone had purchased it for $4 after it was marked down from $7. Cut you 7 round cards. They can actually be about the size of a quarter. I have this burlap cloth I got from Walmart in the buffalo check of red and black. So let's cut these at 2.5 inches wide sections. Each one of these sections represents 1.5 inches. So by the time you cut your square there, you're going to have about a 4 to 4.5 inch square. Now we want to cut the difference, and I selected in the center since the repeat runoff on this burlap is a 1/2 inch wide. And this way I make them into an exact square. So basically you want them as wide as they are tall. Now I've made poinsettia leaves here, and grab you some clips because you're going to need them. So first, fold it into a triangle. Bring the tails of your triangle to the center, meeting them in the center. Now fold it in half and bring that to the front, the smooth side. Now on the sides here, we want to make a 1/4 inch fold. So we're going to fold that flap down on each side like an airplane. A little glue in the center, clip it together and let that dry. Now we have our petals made. So real simple, fold it in half like a triangle. Put a little bit of glue in the middle section and bring your points together in the center. Fold it in half with the smooth section looking at you. A little glue on each side and do a 1/4 fold down. Now you have your little airplane and a little glue in the center. Voila, you have your petals. And the unfinished side, you want to turn and fold it towards the finished side. That will give you less ravel when you're using burlap. Now, if you get this from Walmart in the buffalo check, it is high quality. I will tell you, I bought this last year and I have used it, and it yields a lot. They also have the wider. This one is the 10 inch. You want to make 5 petals for each one of the poinsettias. And we're checking our pedestals, see how smooth they are. If there's any frays, just clip them, because the less you handle these, the better off you are and the less ravel you're going to have. So at this point, so I'm staging here so you can kind of see this come together. Now, isn't this neat? This is just awesome. So we have our flower, and now we can begin gluing, and glue it just on the edge there, just enough to get it to adhere to the card. You don't have to go crazy because, well, we pinched them closed and they'll stay glued. Once you have all of these glued onto the card, you're going to have the first layer of your poinsettia leaves. Now remember, a poinsettia is the leaves. The actual blooms of a poinsettia are very, very small. And the red leaves that you see, they're actually leaves that people think are the blossoms. Now, I had to select me a secondary color. They had silver and green, so I decided to go with this silver I got from Dollar General. It's 2.5 inches wide, which is perfect. So as you can see here, I just folded mine back and forth to create my 5 petals at 2.5 inches wide. That way I kept them even. They were all folded and same size. Now I've cut them into sections. Remove the wire from out of the edge. We're not going to need that because we're going to do the same thing. We need to fold it in half as a triangle. The smidge of glue in the center, make sure you smooth that out so there's no lumps. Bring your points together in the middle. Press it forward so that you are looking at the smooth side. A little dab of glue on the edges there and close those in half. Now it's folded in half. And in the frontal part, put a tiny bit of glue, put your clip, set it aside, and continue your production of making them. So you can cut away any extra cardboard if you cut your circles as large as I did mine, because they will be in your way. But now this is good and dry, and it's ready for the next layer of petals. So you want to get all the excess paper gone. If you're liking this video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. So go ahead and glue your small petals in between. Now here's the idea. Your petals do not have to be this much smaller than your large ones. You can actually go with the same size, but you want to make sure that you place it so that it extends the larger petals underneath and your other ones are laying upon it. Voila, we have our little flower. But you're going to love this next trick. You know those berry garland that we get from Dollar Tree? This one at Easter had the white and the green. That's perfect for a poinsettia bloom. So we're going to take these little berries off of that garland and we're going to put 6 of them total in the center. Now it can be 2 white and 4 green, or it can be 4 white and 2 green. It doesn't matter. With a poinsettia, they're green and white. They can even be silver. You could do gold. You could do red. That would be gorgeous. Just know that those little berries are the right size. Now I started out doing it the hard way, and this is gorgeous. So let me show you the easy way. Pull the berries off 2 at a time from off the garland. You need 6 in the center. It would look better. And if you have a butter knife or a letter opener, as I have here, that is your biggest helping hand for the center. So put 6 of them together, push them in with your butter knife or your letter opener like I did, wiggle it, and voila, you have your blooms in your flower. Also, if you have the micro tip glue gun, that works good to push those down in the center and put your extra insurance of your glue insurance. So let's fluff out the wreath and go ahead and stage your poinsettias. We made 7 for this size wreath, which is about a 12 to 14 inch wreath. And take a chenille stem and place glue across that cardboard in the back and use a piece of painter's tape or scotch tape or something. And that is never coming off. It is permanently there. Extra insurance. I fed it through the leaves on that wreath and tied my chenille stem underneath just like I would with any other wreath. And this was an easy spruce up, and it just turns out so lovely. It's not overdone. It's not adorned with tons of stuff. It's just this little bit. Snip the difference of your chenille stems and wind it good. Tuck it back so it doesn't scrape any of your doors or scratch paint. And leave enough wiggle space so you can adjust your poinsettias. Now I have 3 different ribbons. I have 1.5 inches, a 1 inch, and my 2.5 inch. That is the green I showed you originally, which is a burlap ribbon of 2.5 inches. And I'm showing you I am doing a pledge ribbon. That's where you cross the tails over, and I use my stapler to staple the center. This helps me to be able to create the rest of my bows. So this is the 1.5 inches. The tail, you want it to reach the fold of your bow. And then you'll do the next one. Come in at least 1 inch And use your tail. If it goes above it and touches the bow behind it, then your tail's long enough. And that will give you that 1-inch difference. Clip it off, and then we can get ready to put all of these together. So this is how I do it. I scrunch it in the center. I don't worry about the staple because the staple's not going to get in the way. And once I get my fingers a hold of it, I grab my second ribbon and I stack it on top of it, and then my third one, of course. Now, I'm not going to put you through all of it, but I do adjust mine really, really good. Grab my chenille stem, and I tie that together. Now, this chenille stem I showed you is too short. You need a full-size one, and I had grabbed this small one, so overlooked me, okay? But it made the video, but you know what I did afterwards. If you need to do it to get them together, that's fine too. And voila, this is how she looks. And this is what's in style. These are selling for like $40, $65. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, well, subscribe. Hit that bell. And be sure to like the video. I appreciate it. Until the next DIY and next thrift flip, this is Elizabeth. And I'll be crafting, y'all.